friends. How are you? Come and hang out with me in the craft room for a little while. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. How about that? I had something fun with some washi tape, making some faux washi tape that I saw the other day, and I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to try. And you know me, I don't mind, trying something with you and, and just seeing how it goes, right? So I think it'll be fun. You use some magazines and things like that and some packing tape. And I think that it's going to be fun. I'm anxious to see how it goes. I'm just going to send myself over to another couple of places and get started. Oops. Wrong place. Oh, how are you guys doing today? I feel like I don't come often enough to hang out and just, share and spend some time with you. I'm always so busy, doing some things in the background, and I thought it would just be, fun to hang out and do that today. I think I already said that. So I'm going to put us down here to the desktop in just a second, make sure that I've got all my sound turned off everywhere so we don't have, crazy sound coming in from other places that we don't want to hear, right? If you're in the comments, I hope that you'll let me know where you're watching from today. I'd love to have some people here with me, but I'm still going to show you. It doesn't matter how many people are here, chit-chatting with us. We're gonna figure this out. And I think that now I don't have a lot of magazines. Do you have? Let me know if you've got a lot of magazines. I used to, and then I wasn't using them for anything, and they just start piling up, and so then you're just like, well, what do I have all these laying around for? Well, always when you get rid of something, then you wish you had it, right? I mean, that's got to be some kind of, I don't know what it is, it's a thing. It's a thing, and it's a real thing, right? So, excuse me, I'm so croaky this morning. Hey, Sherry, how are you doing? So this is going to be fun, and like I said, it's going to be an experiment, but I don't mind experimenting with you. Let me move my coffee out of the way. Let me have another sip first. Don't you love my cup? It's my happy cup. I just think it's cheery and happy looking. I love to have a cheery mug of something to drink out of. Okay, let me put you down here to the desktop. Okay, completely empty, ready to go, right? So I tried this earlier, and I did try this. Oh, hang on, I dropped one of my magazines. Well, obviously you can tell that's not all I dropped, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's what I discovered. I discovered that if you use, I had some books. I had some garden books, and I thought, oh, those would be pretty. But you know what happens is when you use some garden, or if you use a book, evidently the ink does not come off. I don't even think that some of the heavier, slicker pages, you know what? Let's just try. Let's just try with something crazy here. Now, this is I don't mind using this tape because it's not nearly as, it's not as wide. I think if I wanted to really have it for something, I want to make sure to use the wide tape. Now, I'm not sure if this one is going to work or not. This is a slicker page. This is one of the, this would be like the cover. And I don't know if this one's going to work or not. Let's see. Nope, nothing. And see, that's how that was with that book page. So, yeah, okay, so that doesn't work. You can't use this slicker paper. It needs to be like regular, you know how magazine things feel, right? Okay, I'm going to first try with some things I really don't, care if they turn out. How about that? Let's use this little piece. Let's try these people. And it would be fun to have some of these where you could just stick them in and have like a picture of a person, right? That'd be kind of fun. So let's see. I'm just going to stick this here. This is, actually I'm going to turn it this way. And maybe we can get more of like that little picture. And so you want to really rub it on good. Give it a good rub. and then I'll show you. And I'm just going to lift this off. And you're going to get places where it's not going to pull the entire image off. And that wasn't the best. So so now if we put this on something with that, that's not that great. So if you really want a full scene of something, this isn't going to be what you want to use. Okay? It's not really meant for that. But if you want something that's just kind of, a little bit of color or, something, that could be fun. Now, I like this here, and I think I want to try to get a piece of that. I'm going to use my bigger washi tape for that. So I'm going to put this down here. Hey, good morning. You guys, let me know if you have tried anything like this. Have you tried this method? And if you did, what did you find that worked the best? Because we're just playing, we're just experimenting. Now I'm just going to put this down here. Well, that tape's not much wider. Why was I thinking that was going to be a lot wider? I don't know. It's not. So now let's just press this down really good. And now we're going to pull this off. And this one isn't coming up too well here at the top. We finally got some at the top. Okay. Well, then that's kind of goofy. That was not what I expected at all. Some of this might just be a fail, you guys. Yeah, I'm not real thrilled with that. Now, when the thing that I tried... Now, and I wonder... Let me feel this paper over here. Because I tried this in here, and I got a better result on one of these things. I would say that these two types of paper feel very similar. Pretty much just a regular... Of course, now this one I use this tape in here. This was what I used when I was doing kind of a little sample run. Let's try this one again. And this would be pretty if I could get some of this lifted off. I like to hold this down here so I have a place to grab it, right, as I pull it off. Okay. We're just going to rub that on. Really want to try to get this stuck down this time, you guys. Okay, let's see if that makes any difference. Okay, now I can see it's already pulling color down here better. I don't know. Is it going to work? Okay, this one's going to work. And we've just pulled that whole layer off. Oh, I didn't think my tape went that far. I'm pulling... My tape is only to here. Man, that separated that paper to where it even pulled more than what I had the tape. So now I've got this. Look how pretty that would be in something. We could put that on something. Let's trim that off. Okay. So that worked okay. Okay. Let's see what else we can do. Let's try another one. So if you've got, now you can see it's shiny, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let's try something else. Let's try some of this pretty red, or maybe down here. So we've got like some greenery and some red. Let's try that one. So you could put some little pieces like this somewhere and use it kind of like a little background. And the reason I wanted to try this was I saw some washi tape the other day that was so, oh shoot, I didn't leave myself my little place. Oh, you guys. Okay, important, leave your spot to peel up. Oh no. Oh, you guys. Oh, I don't know if I can get that lifted back up there. Okay, that's a problem. Can I get it? Now it's probably going to be one of those deals where it just... Let me see. I think it's coming up. Okay, so don't be careful. You know, and maybe you could like have a paper clip at the bottom of your tape so you remember not to... You know, we're used to putting our tape all the way down, right? We're used to grabbing our tape, putting it down on something, and then that's it. Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay, but I don't think it's really pressed on enough. And I think this might be the key, is to really give it a good press. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, this page is, okay, yep, I got, that's right at the top of that tape. But isn't that more narrow than my tape? Yeah, I missed a whole section of my tape. Oh, that's because I didn't get it peeled off down here. I didn't start down here. So I didn't get as much of my red right here. So now that's not as pretty. Although, you know, I've got this section down here that you could use for something and, you know, have a little bit of color. But anyway, there's a company that has, I saw some washi tape the other day that was so pretty. Now let me try this other one. I wonder if the kind that you use makes any difference. This could be kind of pretty, just a little bit of greenery in a background or something right there. I also wonder if it makes a difference the direction that you're pulling your tape. I don't know. These are things I do not know. You guys, if you've tried it, I want to know. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that there. You guys, let me see. Oh, here's a paper clip. I'm just going to stick that there so I don't have to keep holding it while I'm pressing this down. Because, you know, sometimes the direction that you do things can make a difference. So trying to make sure I... Okay, now let's try it. Oh, that comes out good. That one's good. Oh, look. I got that pretty little green color there. Could add that into something. Okay. I'm going to trim this off. And you know, depending on what you've got on your edges, I didn't want to leave that on because it's got, you know, some icky words there. But depending on what you had on those edges, it could be kind of cool. You know, it could just be a little bit of, I don't know, the way that it starts and has the paper to where, like this, when we start down here and it's got this, the tiny little bits that aren't all the way, you know, they're not flat and straight, or even over here. I mean, that could be a little bit of interest in something. You're going to have something that's peeking behind there. And, you know, maybe, now the thing is, you know, a lot of times we can tear and get kind of a rough edge, but you're not going to be able to do that with tape because this part is kind of interesting all down through here. I don't really like this wall section there, but I mean, you might find a use for it, right? Depending on where you wanted to put it. Okay, let's try one more. Let's do this little section right here, because then we can get a whole little scene right there, perhaps. Almost, anyway. Let's do that. I'm going to use the other packing tape again. I honestly don't know if it makes any difference, the kind of, tape that you're using or anything. I want to try to make sure we get, and maybe I'll even try to get some of those words in there, or the number anyway. I'm not down low enough to get the word. And I've dropped my tool, my smasher tool. Okay. So, Nicole says, what does Nicole say? If you soak them in water, the paper comes off and the image will be transparent. Yes, and that's the way that you do a lot of things with, yes, I know that about, I didn't think about that with this, Nicole. That's a good tip. And sometimes, now, whoever I saw do this, hers picked up, the way that it picked up the image and the paper, it didn't pick up as much as this one. I mean, it left so much behind that it was almost transparent anyway. So I guess it just depends on how much, that your tape has lifted up. And this one got a good amount there. See, like this, I wouldn't even mind leaving this jaggedy edge, because that has torn the paper and that looks a lot cooler. And even down here this time, that's kind of cool like that. So let's just say that we're going to just use it like this. Why not, right? But I do think that some garden books and things like that could be fun. And I made this tiny little mini album the other day, and I had this little scene in here, and I thought, you know what, this would be fun to just put something else in. And I think the pages are sturdy enough. If I had if I knew where my glue stick was, we could use that. Oh, you guys, hang on a second. I forgot myself. I was recording a video yesterday, a tutorial, and then I took those things off. I'm sorry. How crazy. But you could just go ahead and, use them like this and put them on. And now, if I was just going to use it like this, I've got to have something that's going to stick it down. And I think I'm just going to use some of this matte medium. My matte medium, I'm not sure it's supposed to sound that liquidy. I've had it for quite a while. It still works. It still works just fine. Let me make sure I got something to wipe my fingers on. And I'm just going to put a little bit of it on here. Yeah, I don't know. I do not use a glue stick often enough that, that it's not like my other glues. So sometimes it kind of, it disappears. It's a disappearing glue stick, you guys. So let's just stick this somewhere. These colors are kind of pretty with it. I'm just going to put that there. And then that would dry, and that stuff will dry clear. That's kind of fun. I kind of like that. Look, right now with it shiny, that's kind of fun. Now, if you don't want the shine, because it would be hard to put a lot of other things on top of this. I didn't get that on there very straight, did I? And, then we could, well, this is kind of a good background for this. I'm going to put one over there, because then we'll kind of have a similar something, whatever we want to do across here. I'm going to do that. Jeanette, we're live. How are ya? Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this on here. And like I said, and and it probably makes a difference if you had the tape and you had used the technique to where you'd put it in water and soaked off that very back paper section. It might be harder for some kinds of adhesive to stick. I don't know. I'm not really sure about that now that I say that. But I'm just going to put this here. Maybe I'll put it all the way, or mostly to the edge. There we go. I should smooth it down good. Those colors look good with that, don't they? Look at that. So now we've got two little fun things here. You know, you can make little books that have little quotes or, you know, just little sweet images in them. And just have a lot of fun playing around. And you know what? And that's what basically art journaling is about, practicing and, you know, doing things that you just want to try, right? It's about, you know, a lot of, I remember years ago people would say, I don't understand what art journaling is. I don't understand why you would do it. What's the point? It's just practice. It's just playing around. It's just practice. You know, it's nothing more than that. And so you not only get to practice and do things in your art journal, it kind of is a record of, you know, things that work, things that didn't work. And then as you progress, as time goes by, you see a real difference in what your work looks like, you know, over time, which can be fun. And, you know, if you started one and let's say you were doing stamping, you know, as time went on and you had been stamping for years, you would see probably a difference. You would certainly see differences in techniques that you tried. I mean, because over the years, we try so many different, you know, techniques and things, right? Hi, Jeannie. Good morning. So when Jeanette saw we were live, she goes, well, hello then. Oh, okay. So now we were talking about, now we've got, since we've used the tape, we've got this shiny surface that would make it a little bit difficult for some things we might want to do. Now, one of the things that you could do is to put a little bit of clear gesso over it. Now, the clear gesso is gonna dry a little bit flat. It's gonna have a little bit of bumpy texture, but not enough that's gonna make any difference for, you know, anything. Gesso is meant to prepare your surface. And so, yeah, I'm going to see if I can just put a little bit on my finger here and just smear it. How many of you like to use your fingers as tools? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you like to use your fingers as tools. And I mean, you can feel it's got just the tiniest bit of, I'm going to say grit. It just feels like a little grit. Now the problem is any under here when you get your tape, anything that was, you know, any little lint or fuzz or anything, you're going to have that. I got a little piece of, I think it looks like I got 2 pieces of lint under here. So that's going to take off that shine, and when it dries, it's just going to have kind of a flat look to it. And it's not going to take much. In fact, that's probably way too much. I'm just going to put that on there. I hope you don't mind, you know, when I come and play around and do some techniques that I'm testing out with you. It's more fun testing it out together. I know some people don't like to do that. They want everything when they come on. They want everything to have been tested out, and they want to, you know, show you the exact way to do everything. Jeannie, I did see you were watching on YouTube. I did see that. That's how I knew you were there. You were just finger gluing last night. I know. And you know what? Let's see. What was it that I used to always say I would rather do with my fingers? Something that I used a lot of, well, I know when I make ATC cards and things like that where I would put something on to kind of seal it, I always would rather use my fingers on it because I can tell where it is. I can tell if you know, if it's been covered because I can feel it. And, you know, that kind of makes a difference. you know, if you have places that you don't want to miss, I'm going to use this real quick and kind of try to help it dry along so we can have a better idea. I don't want to use it too much. That heat won't be that good for the tape. I think this page has got something on it already, yeah. Just a little, just hit it with a little bit of heat. Dry it out a little bit. Oh, you guys, we have been, man, we've had a lot of rain lately, and it's been so much more humid. So sometimes it's taken a little bit longer to dry stuff. Now I can see, I can kind of see now as it dries more thoroughly. I'm not going to be able to see as much so you can see where I, you know, swiped it on there. But now it's going to be ready, but it's not shiny. It's not slick and it's not shiny anymore. So if you wanted to do something like put a little bit of stamping or something on it, now you could do that. I finally found something quick to use for a little bit of a texture stamp. I found these. I always like to have things that, you guys, when you are collecting stamps, if you don't do a lot of stamping and making cards or anything like that, at least look for stamps that you can use kind of as layers and textures, because it will give you so many opportunities to add those kinds of things to what you might be doing. And so if you're doing a piece that's mixed media or even something like this, and you know, a little bit of art journaling, whatever, it gives you other layers to put on. So, you know, here's just, this looks like some handwriting. It's very, you know, nondescript. I mean, you can't read it, right? You can't see what it is. And even little dots of stuff that look like splatters. You don't have to get your, you know, anything liquidy out and spray and make a mess. It'll just be easy to, you know, use something like that. And there you'll have it. You'll have some of those elements without being too messy, right? Yeah, Deanne. Yeah, okay, yeah. I just saw this the other day of trying this, and it was just a quick little snippet of something, and I thought, oh, I want to try that. Now, let's see. Now, here's something. This one is kind of big. I think I just want to use this one. No. Actually, I'm gonna use both of these kind of in different ways, okay? So let's put this one on, and this one hasn't been conditioned yet. Now, this is what I have talked to you before. Now, this is a rubber stamp. Now, the best images are, and the most detail that you're going to get are going to be on rubber stamps. They give the best detail. And so when it's a rubber stamp and it's tiny and a lot of detail, you've got the best chance of making a good impression. And then, you know, you see me a lot use the little sheets to have a little cushion under my paper as I stamp, but you know, you don't have to. A stamp like this, it has the cushion already built in, so we don't even need to do that on this kind of stamp. Now, because it's new, you can either stamp it and stamp it off several times. You can also take a stamp and just like press it on your skin, and it helps to you know, kind of condition it a little bit, because they always have, it's always got stuff that comes from the factory. I mean, little remnants of something. Now, I'm just going to use some black on this. I think black seems a little bit severe, but I think I'll be fine on this. And I'm actually going to put some on here. And I don't even care sometimes if the whole image stamps really great. I think it makes, and because this has little torn bits and things like that, I won't even care if it doesn't. If I wanted a perfect image, I would take this and I would stamp it 2 or 3 times on a blank piece of paper and make sure that it was going to have, you know, leave a really good impression. The other thing on this one is I've already got stuff on the back here, so it's not going to be super flat, and so I'm sure I'm going to have some places that it's going to miss. Now I'm going to take this and open it like this, and then we're just going to give it a go. We're just going to kind of stamp it partially on, and I think more on Well, I don't want it to be half and half. That'll look silly. So you just have to kind of think about that. And I'm just going to roll that on here. There. So now I've got some of the words are on here. Some of them are off. I can still add other things over here that I wanted to. This would be a great thing for kind of some first layering, right? And maybe I even want to add some more. This is a different one that's a little bit of, I can't remember what that was. Was that? Let's see. Oh, it's kind of some text as well in a different way. Let's try that one. Whoops, I gotta take the stickery part off. And remember when I said if you're to collect stamps like that? Jeannie, I have never done that. Jeannie says she sands her stamps. I've never done that. In all the many years, I just don't. So if that works good for you, that's great. I don't know. Just knowing me, I'd sand more off than a person should. Not that that is a wrong way. I just know me. I'd like to be sanding all that stuff off. Okay, so let's try this one. And this is going to be more sporadic looking. Really, it wasn't that much sporadic, was it? So we've got that. And maybe we could even put another little picture off over here. We could do something with it, right? But I think that would be fun. Maybe, do we have any more of our little girls we were using the other day? Let's see. Oh, you guys, this would be fun. Let's put her on. Where's my tiny scissors? Let's put her on here. This was from my my collection from this time. This was like an add-on. It's in my shop. You can find all of that at myartfuladventures.com. Let's put her on. That'd be fun. I'll just cut her out. I think the images that are available in the store, they're better than this one. I just printed this one out real quick one day when I was, well, it was when I was doing this little other page in this little book. But this month, the little houses for the village or the buildings were a tea room and flower shop. So all of the little images went along with that. The little people kind of had that theme. Oh, I'm almost out of the picture. I'm sorry. Gotta pay attention. Pay attention to what I'm showing you. Okay. All right. It's just a little saying. I know, Jeannie. I tell you what, though. I get carried away on that stuff. What do you use? Do you use one of those little sanding kind of brick things, or what's your go-to thing for that? Let me use a little bit of medium. See, now this would have been great if I had other glue, but since we already used since we used this on the other stuff, let's just use it on her too, right? And this is what now this is going to be one of the things, like I was saying, that if I glue this down and I want to kind of seal the top of her too, I would be using my fingers like that. I'm just going to put her right here. Right there. And she's glued down with that. I'm not going to try to put that on top of her. One, I printed that with an inkjet printer, and I'm not sure if that would make it smear or not. It very well could. That'd be a pain to put her on there and do that, huh? Okay, look at that. Well, that's kind of cute. I kind of like that. But these things just give you, you know, something else to use. Something a little more fun. What do you guys think about that technique? You think that's something you might like to try sometime? I mean, be sure and save your magazine. And I really like these that have, you know, the garden things in them. For me, I think those would be very useful. You know, I don't know about other people. And here's another one. Let's try something different. Let's go back to doing this for just a second. There was one in here. You know, this is so cool. This is like a mosaic. I couldn't think of it. Wouldn't that be fun to take some pieces off of that? But it's the cover and it's slick. I just don't think that it would work at all. I think this was the one that had like this cool fall scene in it. Let me see. Because I thought, oh man, there would be pieces. Oh, here was some camping. I thought that could be kind of fun. Some little camping images to do. I thought this would be really cool to do some parts of. Well, in fact, I'm going to do this part right now. That could be really cool and something. Just that whole thing. And you could, you know, take several of these and put them side by side too, right? Now, remember what we said about having it kind of rough on at the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer this one to where it doesn't, well, I got it too far. I wanted it to not be clear to the top, or at least past it. I really didn't want the white. So I'm just going to do this one like this, and I don't want it past the image on here, because I'm hoping that as I pull it off that I can get some of those little sections that almost look kind of striated up at the bottom and the top. Now we haven't been having, it has pulled, so that's just not gonna, is it gonna pull? Let me rub it some more. You just never know. It looks like you just can't tell which ones are gonna work best. I do know one thing, you better really push it on here, that's for sure. Yes, it's packing tape. Hey, Sue. Your little gator sander. I couldn't think of what that was called. Yeah, I wondered if that was what you use. Well, this just is not. Boy, that is just not pulling up this time. We're not going to get much of anything on this one. Look at that. We'll talk about striations. There you have it. That is just not going to be, I don't like that one. Look, if we glued that down, there's just not much. Look. That's all that would be. I mean, I could see it being useful for something, but yeah, I don't know. Let's try another. Let's try the other tape. So this is just like one of those little ones, but it is a name brand one. Let's try another one. And I really think it really has to do with the, oh, you guys, isn't this the one that I tried to take the picture of like the man and woman out and it didn't come out either? Maybe it's the paper. Maybe it really depends on the paper. I mean, it could. But that's kind of sad because you would never know. You would never know until you tried it if it was going to work on the paper that you've got, right? Where's my paper clip? I'm going to stick it under there so I can rub that down good. I don't know. I've lost my paper clip. Okay, now I just got to hold it. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to fold it down so I don't. And then I got it bent or folded onto itself. Not the best application of that one, right? But yeah, I just thought that might be kind of a fun thing to try. And you know what? I always enjoy watching other people and what works and doesn't work. It saves me from trying it. Or, that's not true. Sometimes if I see that they didn't get it to work, I might try it anyway, thinking, oh, can I get that to work? So that wasn't true, was it? Oh my goodness. But I'm really going to try and push this down this time. You know, sometimes when things set a minute too, it's like they have a little bit longer to adhere. You know, have you ever noticed that when you had something like, the longer you might have something like some tape sitting on something, that the harder it was to get off? Or, you know, just anything like that. I think that's true. Okay, let's try it. Let's give it a whirl. It's just, oh, here we go. Maybe. Okay. Okay, that one's better. Okay, I got some this time. I mean, wouldn't that be cool for like some kind of a background thing? You can kind of see it like that. Let's see it in our little book. Do we have anywhere we could put it there? Well, here is a plain color. So, I mean, it would just be a very interesting thing to add to something. You know, you could turn it the other way too. Look at that. That's kind of fun. But see, it leaves little holes in it. And it's got, the top isn't, let me put you down here a little farther if I can. Well, not very much better, right? But you can see, well, here, let me hold it up. It's got little holes all in it. The top is not, you know, just flat and straight. I like that because it's not, you know, it adds a little interest. But look at all the little other holes inside. I mean, it really adds some texture. And then down at the bottom, I like this to where it's not completely, you know, just straight and flat where you start pulling it. So I think that's kind of interesting. You like the smaller tape that you can get letters and words off. Yeah. So I think that's kind of fun. Are you talking about, what kind of smaller tape do you mean by that? Try it on the first part you don't care about. Yes, I think that is an excellent idea, to try it first on a part that you're, you know, that you don't care about, and then you'll see. But you know, I did try it on something and I couldn't get it to work, but obviously you're gonna have to really press super hard to get it to work. And that's a great thought. I love all the thoughts. I love everybody sharing. This is what is so fun, is to, you know, get together, hang out, and everybody, you know, can share their ideas or thoughts. And if they've tried it before, they might have some helpful hints, right? Hey, Linda, how are you doing? So, yeah, that could be really fun. Now, let's see. Now, that brings us to the, I know there was another page in here. It must be this direction. This. And I thought this would be a really cool one. This guy right here. Let's see if we can get him off. That would be fun. Now, let's see. Do we want to go this way? You know, I think we could get most of him on if I do it this way. That'd be kind of cute. Cute. A guy out fishing. Don't you know he'd love to know we're talking about him like that? Oh, he's cute. Oh, just, are you talking about just like regular, I don't have one here. Are you talking about something like this? Just small tape? Is this what you're talking about? Hey, that could be an idea. Oh, I almost didn't get enough of this. Oh, I got it wrinkledy. I got a wrinkle in his lake. I mean, nobody wants a wrinkle in their thing. Yes, Linda, we were talking about that, about making it transparent like that. Which, if a person wanted to take the time to do that. True. Yeah, then that would be fun. I mean, I love, there are so, you know, when we do this kind of stuff, there are so many ways. Oh, did I lose it? Oh, I caught it in my knees, you guys. I caught it. I didn't think I was going to be able to. So I want to make sure I get the, and who knows, oh, my tape just split. Oh no. Oh, that's going to be a problem, isn't it? That is not going to be good. When you know, that's like half the time, you know, you're using some kind of tape and it starts splitting. There's nothing more, well, there are, but that's one of the things that is just such a pain if you're trying to do something and your tape keeps splitting, and then every time you get it back together so it's one piece, you start to pull it and then it splits again. I do not like that when it happens. I don't. How about you guys? Okay, let's try now. And I think that's you know what, I think on this other little one that we did with this one, I think I will try that and try to, you know, get the paper backing off of this one, because look how much paper came off with this one. This was in that garden magazine, and so we got lots of paper. I mean, it just came, I almost wondered how it still had anything left on the other side of the page. But that was a good, that magazine was good. Or it was like little container ideas and stuff like that. So I think, you know, garden magazines and things like that, they're going to give you a lot of things with flowers and plants and stuff like that. And I think that could be really fun. And the same with things that are more like travel magazines. You're going to get a lot of things that are, you know, little pictures of places. And they tend to have a lot of things that have water in them. I have actually, for some reason, we had a travel magazine that started coming up, and they started showing up here, and never paid for it, never bought the magazine at all, and they just started showing up. And I think that magazine came here for at least 2 or 3 years. And then one time they sent a thing and said, oh, you need to renew, and, you know, we're going to charge you. I'm like, no, you're not, because I never ordered this one. So, sorry. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Jeannie, oh, yeah, see, this one is for sure going to have. Okay, we got it stuck down good, you guys. Success, it's stuck down. So for sure this one will have to wet and take the backing off. That'll be cool though. Look at that. That was great. Looking just in time, like for some kind of a Father's Day kind of thing, right? How fun is that? You're a font person. That's cool. Yes, look at this. Yeah, that's cool. And yes, these would be fun. Hello. Oh, that would be fun. Just like hello. That'd be a fun thing to take off. I'll have to try that one. I'll have to keep a marker in here so I can do that. And I hear what you're saying about the tiny tape like this to use, that would be like the real kind of that original clear cellophane tape is what you're talking about, right? I always like this for, you know, gift wrap and things like that. But you're talking about the thin ones that would be just, you know, just the same as these, which, you know, I could do tiny little pieces. I could do a tiny piece. You know, we could get off some, oh, here. You get a Lone Star off of here. Let me get a Lone Star. Since I'm in the Lone Star state. Let's see if that'll work. Although, you know, it's hard when it takes a minute to start pulling the, you know, this end off. I don't know. Now that you say that, though, about using the, you know, the more narrow and doing that for words and stuff, that's a cool idea. I like that. I really want the R. Okay, maybe it's enough to show. See, that tape, when that comes, look, I did get some Lone Star. You can barely tell it's an R. But this paper definitely is going to have the backing removed, and to just wet that and let it soak a little bit. And then you just rub it off. Then when you do it like that, when you soak it and you rub it off, you just rub it like this, and this part starts to come off, and then you'll still have image on the front. I've done that with other things. I didn't even think about doing it with this, or I would have brought a little bit of, you know, water we could have, you know, sprayed or soaked it with. So maybe you know what, maybe I'll just wait, and maybe we can do that another time, because people might want to, you know, see how that actually works. Maybe I'll do that. All right, you guys, that's probably plenty. Plenty splitting tape. Oh, the splitting tape can make you say ugly things. Yep. It is not something fun, right? Send out travel magazines. I don't know about AARP sending out travel magazines. I don't know. And you know what? I think a lot of times if you live somewhere, let's see, where is it we always see things like this? I bet you could walk into some hotel lobbies, and you know how little motels, how in the front they've got little travel magazines? That might be a place. You know, they want you to come and visit their state, right? Yes, tonight I'm going to be in the PJ party. If you want to join me live, I'm going to be on again this afternoon. It'll be 5 Eastern, 4 Central. So come back. And today we have to add a hummingbird to our project. So that's what I'm going to be doing this, you know, later on. So come back. Spend more time with me. You guys, that's going to be it. I'm going to call it done for now. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, yes, AAA. I think they might have some magazines like that too. Yes. Be on the lookout. Find some things like that. You know, we don't always have to, there's so many publications and things. You should be able to grab some things, you know, for free, not having to pay or get a pay for a subscription to something. So be on the lookout and share if you find some great ideas of, you know, some great magazines that you think would work for us. Be sure and share them with us, okay? All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.